Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. In this week's Torah portion, Moshe Rabbeinu appoints a new leader according to God's instructions. He appoints Joshua, his disciple, to take over the mantle of leadership after his passing. And the Torah says that God tells Moshe, "V'samach b'yadav alav," you shall lean or place your hands upon him and confer upon him the role of leadership. And it's fascinating to note that until this very day, when a rabbi receives his rabbinic ordination, the term for rabbinic ordination is smicha. The word smicha is from this week's Torah portion. It means leaning of the hands, because every rabbi has to be ordained by another rabbi who preceded him, who was ordained by a previous rabbi, all the way back to the original teacher of Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu himself. So there's a direct chain, an unbroken line between all rabbis, because they all receive the smicha, the leaning of the hands. Similar to a Sefer Torah. Every Sefer Torah has to be written and copied from a previous Torah. You cannot write a Torah from memory or from using a book. You have to have a Torah in front of you and write one letter at a time from the previous Torah. So every Torah scroll in every synagogue around the world is copied from a previous Torah, going back to a previous Torah, all the way back to the original Torah that Moses presented the Jewish people with. But the question is, why is the word for rabbinic ordination smicha, leaning? What is it about the leaning of the hands, the placing of the hands on Joshua? Why is that transmits and confers leadership upon a new rabbi? And Rav Moshe Feinstein says something beautiful. He says it's not about the placing of the hands that transfers leadership to the student to make him into a rabbi. It's not about the one who is giving the smicha. It's the one who is receiving the smicha. Because Rav Moshe Feinstein says, in order to have someone put their hands upon you, you have to stand before them and you have to lower your head for them to place their hands upon you. And that's the message of smicha. That we're saying to this new young rabbi, this new leader, you know what leadership is? It's not about lifting your head with arrogance and pride and thinking, I'm a leader. No, it's about lowering your head and having humility and being true to the transmission of Torah that goes all the way back to Moses, received from Hashem. And only by humbling yourself and acknowledging the truth and the authenticity of those who came before you and being accurate and consistent with the message of Torah and aligning yourself with the Torah, that's the way you become a great leader, a great teacher, and a great rabbi, one who can inspire and continue to transmit the messages of Torah. What a beautiful lesson about leadership. Leadership is not about your ego or your importance, but it's about staying true to the values, to the principles, to the position that you are carrying. Earlier this year, something fascinating happened in Argentina. You know, there's a new president of Argentina. His name is Javier Milei. And Milei is an incredible human being. He's not Jewish, but he loves Judaism. He studies Torah with the Chabad rabbi in Argentina. He comes to pray at the resting place of the Rabbi. He attends all the Jewish functions of the Jewish community. And most recently, when he went to Israel, he presented Prime Minister Netanyahu with a gift, a painting of Prime Minister Netanyahu receiving a blessing and $1 from the Rabbi. And he has said that after his position of leadership concludes as president of Argentina, he will convert to Judaism. Well, earlier this year, the chief rabbi of Argentina, Rabbi Humana, received a call from the chief of staff of the Supreme Court of Argentina. And he said, late at night, he said, I'm calling you because we discovered in the basement of the Supreme Court 12 crates. And we opened them up and they're filled with Nazi propaganda, documents, notebooks, swastikas, membership cards. And we are calling you as a representative of the Jewish community to come to the Supreme Court. Tomorrow we want to open these crates and see what is in there. And Rabbi Humana said to the chief of staff, do you realize this can bring great shame and a stain upon Argentina, the country I live in and love? Because it will show the collaboration. How did these 12 crates of Nazi propaganda get to the basement of the Supreme Court. The Chief of Staff said in consultation with the President, we want transparency and we want honesty. We know we're a country that sheltered many Nazi criminals after the war, but we must follow the truth and reveal the truth and share this with the public and take ownership and responsibility for what we have done as a nation. And the next day, Rabbi Humana went down to the basement of the Supreme Court as they began to open up one crate after another, gently opening up and taking out documents that have been sealed for 90 or 80 years. And these documents are being made public on a consistent basis. That's the definition of leadership. Not shielding or protecting yourself from wrongdoing to hide your mistakes and prop yourself up with arrogance and ego, but to lower your head with humility and say, I am a conveyor of truth and transparency and remaining honest and committed to the proper path. And wherever that leads me, I will do it with humility and lower my head and acknowledge the supreme leadership and rulership of Hashem over the entire world. Have a wonderful day.